Here's how bad the Democrats f***ed up. Trump is cool now. He's not just the most powerful guy in the world and just made himself like the richest. He's actually kind of at 78. Yeah. I mean, rappers like him. Yeah. The athletes are doing, I was making fun of him, and now he owns it, and they're doing it. I mean, the village people are gay for Trump now.
He's always been a celebrity, Bill. He was
a joke.
He had The Apprentice. He used to do movie cameos. He did wrestling.
He was a joke.
But you know what? But he was made to be a celebrity by a whole bunch of Democrats. Think about that.
That's political commentator and man 10 years behind the times, Bill Maher, slowly catching on to the fact that liberals don't determine what's cool anymore. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Bill Maher is still trapped in a red pill version of Groundhog's Day, where each day he realizes the problems on the left, but is prevented from fully acknowledging their root causes due to his own selfishness and inflated ego. Here he is with Stephen A. Smith and Democrat Representative Ro Khanna coming close to understanding some key issues, but inevitably striking out.
Which where they look at you and they say, hey, we get where you're coming from. You relate to us. The Democrats went a different direction. Trump capitalized on it. Basically, he played everybody like a fiddle and has won re-election again. That's really the bottom line.
I agree, I think, with a lot of what Stephen A. is saying. I mean, look, I think Trump came in there and said politics are broken. They're all beholden to donors. There's been a country which has had all this economic wealth in some areas, other parts of the country, offshoring of jobs. Your communities haven't been helped. I'm going to come and fix it. And there's a history in this country. We love James Dean. We love Miles Barber. We love people who question rules. But what is he doing about it? Like, now they're saying, oh, he's cool.
Well, I mean, Tony, there's a lot of other stuff. To your point, you know, this country never reacts. It only overreacts. And some of this is brought on by the left. Yeah, you're right. You brought it on yourself. I mean, penises in the locker room, penises in women's prisons. Of course he's going to go the complete opposite direction now. And now there's only two sexes. Whereas, obviously, there's a middle ground, which is there's not just two sexes. This goes back to hermaphrodites in ancient history and, you know, chicks with dicks. And it's just not that simple. But it's also not the case that every baby born, which is what we had for the last 4 years, is kind of a jump ball of, oh, I don't know, just as likely, let's not even put the sex on the birth certificate, let's let the kid decide when they're 5. That was crazy. So there's going to be this backlash, and that's what you have now. Well, you did bring it on yourself in a lot of ways.
You know, part of Bill's problem is that on some level, he always accepts the premises put forth by the left. You can see it there on the gender issue. He's all for Marxist relativism and destroying the binary until those ideas are carried to their inevitable conclusions. Just like his stance on immigration, he's repeatedly said that it's a good thing that traditions are being destroyed in Europe and America, and that it should be celebrated when demographics of an area radically change due to immigration. Yet, when the consequences of that are laid bare, he balks at the idea and retreats from the left.
The Laken-Riley Act, I'm sure you voted on that. I think you voted no. Okay, but it did pass. This is a law that says that ICE can detain any illegal who is charged, arrested, or convicted of a crime, not merely an accusation, so don't get excited, Karens.
If you're just arrested, we are a country in which we have due process, and you should have a trial. I think that's a reasonable position. I think most people can agree also that, yes, let's deport convicted felons, convicted criminals, but let's not deport our nannies and students or dental hygienists who've been living here for years and have kids in communities. We can have a common sense position on this.
We're talking about them being arrested. Let's have due process. But if it takes too damn long to address it, that pisses people off. That's one of the problems that exist in this country. You're looking at stuff and you're like, okay, you arrested him. Was he in jail? All right, you let him out. Recidivism is an issue in this country. You let somebody, you arrest them, you're letting them out the same day, stuff like that. You got law enforcement officials that are getting discouraged because they're looking at it and they're saying, wait a minute, why are we out here risking our life and taking care of this stuff when y'all are just letting people out? You got to handle business. And a lot of times we hear about the red tape and all of that stuff, and you're talking about a candidate right now who's not supposed to be the president of the United States now. He's sitting up there and he's talking about expediting the process at every turn. Let's just get stuff done. Let's just get it done. Now, I don't know if I trust that. I don't blame you for not trusting it. But we have to understand the American people are saying, you know what, enough's enough. We've tried it that way. We've been doing it that way for decades. We sick of y'all. Let's wait. Let's go through the process. Let's arrest somebody. Let's let them out. Let's put them back out on the streets. Oh, let's make sure they have due process. You think somebody wants to hear about due process with somebody that's in this country illegally? They want to hear that. You in the country illegally. Hell with your process.
Yeah.
You got the audacity to admit a crime after you got here illegally? We ain't trying to hear that. Nobody's trying to hear that. So they're saying, wait a minute, what are you going to do about it? Where is the common sense in that?
It's amazing that Stephen A. Smith is the most level-headed one during this whole debate. I mean, let's be honest, it's no surprise that a guy named Ro Khanna, whose parents came here in the 70s, opposes Trump on immigration. But you can tell that Maher is conflicted a bit here. I mean, on one hand, he's been attacked from the left for saying things like Democrats let too many people in and asking them how many is too many. Yet he seems fine pretending that a guy whose family came from another country a generation ago has the same exact understanding of what it means to be an American as someone whose family's been here for generations. And one of the issues here that Trump's addressing is that regular Americans are tired of being sidelined due to this equivocation. Is there room for legal immigration? Absolutely. But this notion that we're going to be lectured to or told what an American is by second-generation immigrants or people like Ilhan Omar needs to come to an end.
I know Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland.
Yeah.
Likable man. I think he has incredible potential. Resonates with people because he sends a message to them, not just that he cares about them, but that he's listening to them, as opposed to trying to guilt them with fear-mongering and everything else to get them to do what you as a politician want them to do. You have to understand, respectfully, in my opinion, that you are in the minority within the Democratic Party based on what we've seen over the last 4 to 6 years. It's entirely different now because, like Bill said, it's not enough for you to vote for them. You got to side with them. The same people that you voted for, they made you feel, they got to a point where if you uttered the wrong pronoun, they was ready to cost you your career. I'm working in television and I'm having people who are hyperventilating, scared to death, taking deep breaths, making sure that when they go on a diatribe or a rant or whatever, they're uttering every syllable correctly. This is the kind of world that the Republicans didn't create that. They're guilty of a whole lot of stuff, but they didn't create that. And when you create that where somebody is scared to utter the wrong word out of their mouth, and we all know what some words are taboo, but damn, it got to a point where he or she was taboo amongst some Democrats. Now, how the hell that happened?
Again, Smith knocks it out of the park here. The biggest impediment to liberals right now isn't their terrible ideas or policies that are counterproductive, it's their attitude and how they talk to people about those things. Because it's one thing to be wrong, and it's another to be condescending and wrong. Americans are forgiving to a fault, but I think we finally reached a limit on what we're willing to tolerate in this country. But let me know what you think. What's a sensible solution to the current immigration problem? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!